Annette's little farm in the big city. It's a beautiful day. It's hard to believe that winter is just around the corner, but it is, and we need to get ready. So that's what we're going to do today. Before we get started on our work day, I just wanted to stop for a second and make sure I gave you a huge thank you. I want to thank you for watching my content, for subscribing, hitting the like button, and all your lovely comments. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. I know I don't talk a whole lot about subscribing or asking people to subscribe. I don't feel comfortable doing that, but I just want you to know that I really appreciate it. Well, you know Miss Annette doesn't like to sit still, so I better get to work. Run inside real quick before I start on the barn and refill my sugar jars. We're feeding the bees aggressively because we're not really quite sure they have enough honey to survive the winter. Bees need about 60 pounds of honey to survive a winter, and I'm not quite sure they have that much. So I'm going to feed whenever it's nice outside. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little bar in there, and then they still have an opening right here and right here to get in and out. But it keeps them a little bit warmer. I also put the bottom board in, which means I put this in. Even though it's really warm today, I'm going to go ahead and take the doors out in the barn so that I can get the solid doors in. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this inside and put new batteries in it. This little thermometer helps us keep track of the temperature, but not only just the temperature, but also the humidity, which humidity in a barn can really cause trouble with the goats and their breathing and the chickens. So the humidity is just as important as the warmth. We don't worry about heating the barn because the animals pretty much naturally figure out how to keep themselves warm. The goats grow an extra coat of fur, and the chickens, they have their nice downy feathers underneath their big feathers, and they kind of huddle together when it gets cold. I also noticed that recently, since it started getting cold at night, that the chickens are all sleeping a little bit huddled together, as well as the ducks. So we don't heat any of the animal outbuildings, but we do monitor the temperature. Alright, this barn is a mess. I need to clean it. I'm not going to clean the barn completely. I'm going to leave some of the animal waste and some of the leftover hay and wood chips in the barn because that helps keep it warm in there. And as winter goes by, we're going to continue putting clean on top of the dirty, and that's going to create a heat barrier for the animals in the barn. It's called a deep litter method, and that's what we're going to use. But today I'm going to clean up some of the wet stuff because it's causing a lot of ammonia in the barn, and that's not healthy for the animals. So that's what we're going to do real quick. This is all going to go to the compost. That urine-soaked wood chips are going to be really good for the compost, so I'm really excited to get that in there. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll turn it over in the compost for our spring garden, which I know spring is a long way away, but it gets here before you know it. You know, here on the little farm we do all kinds of activities. And I just wanted to stop for a second to thank you for subscribing and hitting the like button. Except for that one guy. He hit the down button. I didn't like that. That's okay. It's alright. It's not for everybody. And I know I'm all over the place. One day I'm doing crafts and another day I'm taking care of animals. Or I'm in the garden. I get it. I'm all over the place. It's hard for that the YouTube algorithm to figure out where I'm supposed to be. But I know one thing for sure. I'm supposed to be with you. Learning together how to be resilient and how to take care of animals and how to cook and how to read. All of those things that we do on the little farm. I know that's where I'm meant to be. Here for you. And I just want to thank you so much for subscribing and liking and those beautiful comments. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. Mwah. All right, I gotta get back to work. It's the time of year where we have to put the hose away because it'll freeze. And then it's the time of year that I have to start bringing water from in and out of the house, which isn't much fun, but we're talking about maybe having some sort of irrigation system put in next spring. It's a good thing about fall and winter. It gives you plenty of time to think about next year. Talking about water, I got to put our water buckets in. Now these have electric cords because they're electrified. They keep the water from freezing. So we have 3 of them. I think I'll put this little blue one and this green one in the goat pen. And I'll put this one in the ducks. Even though the ducks make a big mess out of water, I think that this year we've moved the ducks' water outside of their pen, and I think I'm going to put it somewhere out here in the garden. So it won't be too splashy or messy or icy. But I've got to wash these because they're really dirty from sitting in the garage. I moved these bricks here for the bucket. It's nice and level. It's close to the barn. The barn has electricity, so it'll be really easy to plug it into the outlet inside the barn. There we go. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the feed buckets. These are the feed buckets that we made for the chickens and the ducks, and they get pretty gross inside. And I'm sure that animals don't care, but I keep wondering if maybe they could get sick because there's a lot of bacteria that grows in this food, and I can tell just by the way it looks. So I'm going to clean these out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark with marker, one for chickens and one for ducks, because you would think they were interchangeable, but they're not. The chickens do not like to eat after the ducks. So if I put a bucket in there that the ducks have used, the chickens will not eat the feed. So I'm going to wash them really good, and then I'm going to use a magic marker and mark one for chickens and one for ducks, and then use those exclusively for those animals. Animals are so strange. Well, that was another full day here on the little farm. Thank you for visiting Miss Annette's little farm in the big city. Take a little time for yourself today. Get outside. Take a walk. Have a cup of tea. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.